Hey, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon to others. It is NBA betting today with my guy knows a guy from the SportX Insights YouTube channel. Shout out to everyone that had a chance to watch the late live stream yesterday. It was a really interesting night of NBA basketball, Friday night basketball. Some of the dogs woke up. Some people are not pleased. And I did tell my dog, HK, hopefully he's watching right now. I did tell him that if the Bulls won yesterday, I would wear this hat today. That's just how it goes. The Minnesota Timberwolves were outlasted in the fourth quarter, even though they had the depth to get it done yesterday. The Bulls, they had an extremely efficient offensive quarter in the fourth quarter, and they looked like the Bulls last night. Kobe White, 6 threes off the bench. Kobe White definitely propelled them to victory in that fourth quarter last night. I did like what I saw from the Bulls, but I definitely don't like losing my money. Big shout out, though, to the Boston Celtics. They definitely kept the tempo of the game in line with our projections. It was a pretty intense game in the fourth quarter, actually. Pretty sweaty stuff. The Nuggets got the cover right at the end, the backdoor cover, actually. I have a lot of stuff to share today. I'm actually just going to retweet this on Twitter. If this is your first time watching the channel, if you're not subscribed, hit subscribe and turn notifications on and hit the like button before we get started. What's up, Uncle Say, Bank X, Oregon, Frank? I see you guys. Good morning. Let's get to it. Let me just do a quick retweet, and I'm going to share some NBA picks and props based on my research this morning and last night. And let's get to it. 11 games today. There's a lot to talk about. Give me just 1 second. I'm not going to lie. Kevin Love helped quite a bit yesterday. Flamethrower off the bench. Let's see how it goes today in Philly, though. Pretty big game. Cavs 76ers. As we know, James Harden will not make his debut. The odds that I'm using are listed on sportx.bet, and I do have the injury reports on the screen as well. You can see the projected starting lineups. So let's start with the first game. We have the New York Knicks against the Portland Trailblazers. The Knicks took a lot of people's money on Thursday against the Warriors. Outright victory without RJ Barrett. They had some reverse line movement in that game. They definitely performed. It looked like the refs were really on the Knicks side. They were getting a lot of calls. It was actually a crazy game to watch. Even going back and looking at it, the box score as well, there were a lot of anomalies in that game. One trend that I am seeing in this game is Evan Fournier has been shooting lights out from the three-point line over the last 5 to 6 games. Now you're seeing a more adjusted line at 3.5 on his three-point line. I'm probably going to place a smaller bet on Evan Fournier to go under 3.5 threes today, though, against the Portland Trailblazers. But I do think the Knicks have what it takes to cover this early game. It is a 5 p.m. tip-off game. Even though they don't have R.J. Barrett, I'm seeing promising signs from their bench. A couple of players stepping up, Alec Burks, Cam Reddish. I think that they still have the depth to outlast the Portland Trailblazers. One worrying note, though, is that the Blazers are expected to start Josh Hart today. He will be an offensive infusion. I'm not the biggest Josh Hart fan personally, but he is he's going to play today for the Portland Trailblazers. Let's see how he matches up against this Knicks team. When it comes to the point spread, I only have a lean for this one. It would be the Knicks to actually cover the 5. Maybe I will add that towards the end of this live stream, but I actually have a couple of other bets that I'm going to share. What's up, Chris? What's up, Elastico? Just Jordan, William. Good morning, everyone. So we have I do like the Knicks to cover in this game, partially because, I believe that, one, it seems like Julius Randle has turned the corner a bit. I'm not sure if it's because of simply because of RJ Barrett's production being off the board for this team, but Julius Randle has put together a string of decent performances. But he was at such a rock bottom point over the last 6 to 8 weeks. He all he could do was trend upwards in terms of his offensive production. His points total is set at 22.5. It's pretty interesting without RJ Barrett in this game. This is a game I will be watching probably in its entirety. Not much else to do. Late afternoon game, 5 p.m. over here on the East Coast. But Frank said he's going to sprinkle. Let me just see if it. The odds are the same. Mitchell Robinson double and a win. I think Yusuf Nurkic is going to be a bit overwhelmed in this game. Now this team with the Portland Trailblazers, they still have a bit of offensive talent, mainly with Simons and Nurkic. No play for me on the total here, but I think the Knicks will cover this game, everyone. Quentin Grimes, as well, as a player that I believe is going to be a future moneymaker when it comes to the three-point prop market. And if they list his line today for three-pointers, I think that there will be value on Quentin Grimes. He's a player that the New York Knicks have targeted as an organization to develop rapidly, and he's shown some really promising signs, particularly with his defense and his three-point shooting. If they set a line for Quentin Grimes, I think there will be value in his line as well if you can get plus 125 or higher on his three-pointers to go over. But I do think the Knicks will take these guys out today in this early game. Let's see how it goes. First game of the day. I actually didn't bet the Knicks. We can move on to the rest of the slate as well. Randall double-double and Knicks money line. Okay, Felix. You got OKC plus 12. Yeah, that was last night. Yeah, actually, we'll move on to the next game. A game that I do have a couple of bets in. Let me just make sure the odds didn't change. The San Antonio Spurs are on the road at the Pelicans. The Pelicans are giving up 6 right now on SportX.bet. The total is 229. In this game, he was 1 point away last night, Jakob Poeltl. I'm not running it back with his points last night, although I do think that is a go. In hindsight, it may have been a bit over-adjusted. A double-double is reasonable for Jakob Poeltl. Last night, he faced some stiff resistance in the Atlanta Hawks interior, particularly from Clint Capella. But really and truly, Jakob Poeltl just didn't get many shot attempts up. He got pretty lucky with a half-court three. He made his first three-pointer of the season from half-court buzzer beater last night. As I said yesterday on the late live stream, I did think that DeJounte Murray would have a much better game. We talked about that on Spaces as well with my dog Chris. I said maybe his rebounds would be a go. I didn't bet that. But my bet in this game is Jakob Poeltl over 8.5 rebounds, everyone. Plus 105, I bet that. And I actually bet a full unit on this one. I don't bet a full unit on props too often, but this is one that I bet a full unit on. This is a player that's been hitting his prop total on rebounds at a 75% plus clip over the last 20 games. And particularly after he only has single-digit performances like he did last night. 5 rebounds, second night of a back-to-back. It doesn't really seem to affect Jakob Poeltl over the course of this season. And you can even go back as far as last season. Stiff resistance in Jonas Valanciunas, a big body. But you look at Valanciunas himself, he's gone under his rebound total, which indicates less effort inside. He's gone under his rebound total in the last 4 games. He's actually gone under 10 in the last 4 games. So maybe it's a bit more of a favorable matchup for these guys. Hopefully they don't cancel each other out. I lean towards Valanciunas to go over 12.5 rebounds today. To me, the fact that they didn't adjust the line, although he's gone under 10 4 games in a row, is definitely a signal for me. I have not bet the Jonas Valanciunas prop, but I did bet the Jakob Poeltl over 8.5 rebounds prop. I'm pretty confident in that one as well. When it comes to the game, we see the energy that they put forth last night. I saw DeJounte Murray in the game late. Popovich definitely did not have too much faith in his bench last night, even though the Spurs were comfortably up against the Atlanta Hawks by 12 to 15 points, as high as 20 points at some points, I think. They really turned it on against the Hawks last night. He still didn't put too much trust in his bench and gave some of his starters. I mean, Poeltl was in the game until 3 minutes left, so there's no excuses there. And no excuses there for Poeltl. But honestly, I think the Pelicans can get it together today. I think they can get it together. Look at the quality of this starting 5. It is a quality starting 5, catching a San Antonio Spurs team that's on the second night of a back-to-back. I think the Pelicans can cover this 6-point spread. The Spurs are only 4-8 on the second night of a back-to-back ATS this season. I know they have a lot of young legs, but as I said, I was pretty surprised they competed as well as they did last night because they traded Derek White, one of their more promising pieces for the future. But Derek White, I thought that was a signal that the Spurs maybe didn't want to win as many games as we think. There are 14 games under 500 going into last night. I think they're 21-34 right now. The Spurs, they're still going to be a competitive team going in. It's going to be a blurry picture for the play-in tournament spots for the San Antonio Spurs, just heading into this home stretch over the last couple of months of the season. I think the Pelicans have what it takes to get it done in this matchup. But I want to see a larger sample size of CJ McCollum building chemistry with Brandon Ingram. We see a game the other day, Brandon Ingram already dropped to 15 points. Let's see what effect suddenly inserting another scorer. Brandon Ingram has been such high usage this season that, he if the Pelicans had a better record, you could have made a case that Brandon Ingram was snubbed for the All-Star game. He's actually been playing very well. Now you have another high usage guy that is taking up a lot of shots in CJ McCollum coming to New Orleans. Keep an eye on Brandon Ingram and his offensive production over the next 5 games. Let's see how this goes. For this one, Jakob Poeltl over 8.5 rebounds at plus 105 is the bet. A plus 105. Brandon said he feels like the Pelicans are a smash spot. Let's see. I think the Pelicans could take these guys out, bro. You know, I think they can take these guys out. They're traveling backwards across time zones. They're traveling backwards across time zones to New Orleans. Only one time zone. But this is going to be a very, very interesting game tonight. Sharp line with -6. But if the Pelicans, you know, they're going to come out pissed, you know, with the way that they laid an egg at home against Miami. This is a team that we may not have playoff aspirations for the Pelicans, but they definitely see themselves as making some noise to at least make the play-in tournament. And we may see that reflected in their energy at the beginning of this game today against the San Antonio Spurs. Let's see how it goes, everyone. Let's see how this one goes. For now, I'm going to bet Jakob Poeltl over 8.5 rebounds at plus 105, and I bet it confidently. Moving on to a game that's going to be extremely popular for bettors today, the Memphis Grizzlies at the Charlotte Hornets. It was a mob game. The Hawks killed all the money line parlays in the world last night. Don't get it fooled. Anyone that played a parlay last night probably had the Hawks in it, and they lost. The Pelicans don't have too much depth, in my opinion, beyond Devontae Graham, who's going to be shifting to a six-man position today. CJ McCollum it's a very interesting experiment right now in New Orleans to see if Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum can build some synergy off one another. What? The Hawks are not getting your money again? They usually cover when everyone says that. Austin. Last night was tough, though, I promise you. I feel you. I felt that way about the T-Wolves. Everyone take a second, hit the like button as well. Help the video get 100 likes if you're watching it later on replay as well. And feel free to engage in the chat as well if you have any questions about the games today. There's a lot to talk about today. Moving on to the Grizzlies and the Hornets. We have plays here. I'm wearing this for my homeboy HK. He told me to take the Bulls last night. I didn't listen. Keldon Johnson? I can check that right now. If you have any more questions, ask them. He snapped. Keldon Johnson snapped early yesterday, bro. And what it is Lonnie Walker has taken a major step back this season, and you traded a high-usage player in Derek White to the Boston Celtics. Keldon Johnson, this is a recipe for success for him for the rest of the season. I missed that one yesterday. Yeah, the T-Wolves need to work on their defense, bro. That was a complete shit show yesterday. Complete shambles. And let me tell you something as well. Like, last night was the 15th straight game that the T-Wolves have been involved in a game where them and their opponent have both scored 105 plus. That's the longest streak in their franchise history. So every time the T-Wolves play, both teams are scoring over 105, which is not too much in today's NBA, but like you can never hold an opponent under 105 points. That's alarming. That is alarming, everyone. Yeah, throw parlays out the window, bro. Unless you just play some cross-sport parlays, throw that shit out the window. On an everyday tip. Every now and then you may see an opportunity to strike, right? Maybe on some money lines as well. But if you're playing them every day, you have to hit them every day. This is facts. I agree. All right, moving on to the Grizzlies and the Hornets. We're just reading all the messages in the chat. I appreciate everyone. We're going to get to that Heat game as well. I might have two angles in the Heat Nets game. After the 51 piece, Luka dropped 51. He's getting double teamed today. What do you think? I use SportX, and then I use SportX all day, every day, because I earn crypto while I'm betting on the games. So it's a no-brainer long term. SportX.bet, and then I use some offshores for props. All right, I have everything pulled up. Got to make sure nothing changed. The Grizzlies are an injury report team, unfortunately, but they're a really good team. I like watching them play. I will scroll down. I'll come right back to this Wizards Kings game. Actually, some brief thoughts on this game. Brief thoughts on the Kings and the Wizards. I think the Kings, I hate betting on the Kings. I hate betting on the Kings as an organization. They're very, very difficult to trust. But just looking at the lineup, and now we have the news that Porzingis will not make his debut they got him out of here. The Mavericks probably made a good move. They probably could have got a much better deal than Spencer Dinwiddie. Spencer Dinwiddie probably needs a change of environment. It was a pretty vicious locker room in Washington. So I think that Spencer Dinwiddie still has a chance to have a decent season because of the change of environment, being around Luka, being around a better organization right now. But look at this lineup. Raul Neto, everyone. Raul Neto, starting point guard against De'Aaron Fox. Have you guys watched Raul Neto play this season? He's on his way out the NBA. I'm very sorry, Raul Neto. He's on his way out of the NBA, and he had a decent career for what he brings to the table, representing his country, but he's on his way out. Corey Kispert has been a bust in the lottery. Caldwell Pope and Kuzma are crying that they didn't get traded. And Thomas Bryant is washed after his ACL surgery. This is your starting five today. Kyle Kuzma is probably going to snap today because the Kings don't have much of a defensive front, but just basketball-wise, I have to throw all contrarian logic out the window here. I like the Kings. I like the Kings to get these guys out of the way, and I may never say that again for the rest of the season unless they cover today. Yeah, I'm going to reach out to Stuck as well about the UFC stream, everyone. There's a pretty big event today. No, but you can swap tokens on site, and you can swap in and out of tokens on site. It's really cool. It's really cool. 100%, Chris. I'll drop by. I'll probably speed it up as well. Just like talking about the games. We still have a lot of games to talk about. So if everyone can, hit the like button. You guys are watching NBA betting today. The image quality is about to decrease a bit, but you will still be able to see me because my camera is going to die. I'm going to switch to the MacBook camera. No technical difficulties today, but it will get a bit darker. So looking at this game, I think Fox and Sabonis have distinct matchup edges. I think they will both go over their prop totals. Shout out to Akbar for the information on this game as well. We just got news as well. Kevin Durant remains without a timetable for return, according to Steve Nash. But going back to this game, I wish I caught it at -1.5 last night. If the Wizards cover today, there's fishy business involved, or Kyle Kuzma has a superhuman performance today, because the Kings do have a quality enough lineup with Fox, Sabonis, and Harrison Barnes to get it done. I was surprised they didn't trade Fox and Harrison Barnes. It's a vote of confidence. Harrison Barnes came out, splashed 4 threes in their last game. I like the Kings here to get these guys out of the way. -3. I think Sabonis will probably keep his run of performance going, but just keep in mind that there's a bit of a risk there. If they really go up big here, if the Kings go up big, there's a bit of a risk. There's more risk on Sabonis props than there are. Yeah, and it actually happened. 1 second. Yeah, I'm back. You guys can still see me though. It'll be a bit darker though, but my camera battery died. I switched to my MacBook battery. My MacBook camera. Yeah, they haven't won 2 in a row for a month. Said Durant's too brittle. That's always been one of his concerns. I use teamrankings.com primarily. You can click situational trends on teamrankings.com. It's very, very easy. I can go to the site now if you guys want to see it. I'll tweet some pics out after everyone as well. Seth Curry is unlikely to make his Nets debut today. Yeah, you guys can just use the same resource that I use. Everyone has access to the same information. None of this is a secret, and most of this is already baked into the lines as well. Most of the lines that we're seeing already reflect the information that's publicly available. So what I'm saying about no rest back to back, there's a 90% chance that it's already reflected by the line. But odds makers are not perfect. We're trying to find imperfections in their lines and attack the lines. That's what we're trying to do as sports bettors. So I don't have any resistance towards sharing my tools or my information. It's all public information. I want you guys to have the best information possible so you can make quality decisions. We all have access. It's just like stocks, just like crypto, just like any other financial market. We all have access to the same information, but it's up to you on how you're going to interpret that information. Your interpretation, your perspective could be completely different than mine. That's why I like listening to people. I'm not going to bash anyone unless you're going against me. I'll bash you. All right, so Hornets. Grizzlies, hit the like button, everyone. So you can go to this page right here, hit situational trends. ATS trends right here. Charlotte Hornets, they're 3-7 on the second night of a back-to-back ATS, everyone. 3-7. They've covered 30% of their games. It's a small sample size, only 10 games. They've only had 10 back-to-backs up until now. But this is some stuff that I would look at, This is stuff that I would look at. I would also look at their totals on the second night of back-to-backs as well. They're going over 70% of the time on the second night of a back-to-back. We see a high total tonight of 239. Disgusting. 239. We see what the Grizzlies have been doing recently. It's not an app. It's teamrankings.com. Teamrankings.com. Let me get to the plays, though. That's why everyone's here. My play in this game is Jaren Jackson Jr. over 17.5 points. He has a distinct matchup edge. It correlates with the total of the game. It correlates with Memphis Grizzlies covering the game, which I think that they have a great shot to do tonight. I actually like the Grizzlies in the first half on the spread, everyone. But I bet Jaren Jackson Jr. over 17.5. They did shore up their front line. I'm surprised that Montrezl Harrell didn't start in his debut, but they probably want to get him acclimated. They have to start Montrezl Harrell. They got to get Mason Plumlee out of here. Jaren Jackson's going to tear him to shreds today. Food, complete food, baby food. Over 17.5 points, Jaren Jackson Jr. in this game. And I do lean towards Ja Morant, his points over as well, but I'm not really in the business of taking some of the superstar props, 28.5, 29.5. 100%, yeah. It's a resource that I use every single day. Crypto Wiz is on OKC, heavy. My bro Akbar just shouted you out, bro, about De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis. Let's see how that goes. Yeah, so let me get back to my thoughts on this game. I think the Grizzlies, because of the lack of defense of the Hornets, the interior defense of the Hornets, and the tenacity, the deflections, hustling for 50-50 loose balls, offensive rebounding, transition scoring. The Grizzlies have a distinct edge across the board in all of these metrics. Scoring differential over the last 3 games. Now, I do have to remind everyone that the Hornets did beat the Grizzlies outright earlier this season, okay? Scoring differential over the last 3 games, the Memphis Grizzlies are plus 23 points, a negative scoring differential for the Hornets. Points per game over the last 3 games, 134 points. They're putting it up against some weaker competition, but they're putting it up. Now, you look at the game yesterday, these games do happen. You get an opponent like the Pistons that are down on their luck, they're tanking, not having the best season, don't really have the aspiration to win. Those are the sorts of games that can springboard a team like the Hornets to quote unquote turn the corner. And yesterday could be one of those games. But I still like the Grizzlies to take these guys out today. -7 Grizzlies. Jaren Jackson Jr. over 17.5 points. I like both. On SportX, large bets today. I'll share them. It's teamrankings.com. I respect Team Rankings because the lack of ads, the lack of advertising, lack of clutter. The user interface is very easy to use, and there's like I said, there's little clutter on the screen. There's almost no advertising, compared to a lot of other statistical websites. There are a couple of other sites that I do use, and I'll share them another time, just in case they don't have something here. I appreciate you, Crypto Wiz. I appreciate you. Hit the like button, everyone. Let me know how you guys feel about the Jaren Jackson prop in this game as well. I was having a conversation with my friend in our group chat, Callum, who was asking about Steven Adams and Jaren Jackson Jr. They both have a matchup edge today. Steven Adams rebounds, Jaren Jackson's points. I decided to take Jaren Jackson Jr. over 17.5 points. All right, I think I settled on this game for a bit too much. I like the Grizzlies to cover on these guys. I like Jaren Jackson Jr. to score over 17.5 points against Mason Plumlee and the undersized Montrezl Harrell today. He's probably going to get whatever he wants. He has a sustained rate of going over 17.5 points over the last 8 to 9 games. Went under the last game, but not because of his efficiency. Mainly because of his lack of shot attempts. It wasn't absolutely necessary last game against the Pistons. His services were not necessary. To cover today, his services will be needed. Jaren Jackson Jr. All right, moving on. Raptors, Nuggets. Raptors, Nuggets, everyone. As you can see, the Raptors have covered 8 straight games. The Denver Nuggets have covered 3 straight games. They actually got the backdoor cover last night. People that bet the Celtics on the late spread were, to say the least, they were pretty angry because it was literally a backdoor spread with like 6 seconds left for the Nuggets. But the game went under. As you can see, the Raptors have improved to 32-21. 32-21-1 ATS so far this season. The Denver Nuggets were far below 500 just as recently as 3 weeks ago. They're playing much better basketball as of late. It's a second out of a back-to-back. We know they have to travel into Canada today. If Fred VanVleet plays today, I'm going to run it back with the Raptors today against the Denver Nuggets. Jokic, I'll be honest, Jokic is a major problem for the Raptors. He's a major problem for every team in the NBA, just about. But when for the Raptors, because of his just pure mass, his body mass, he is a problem today. But without, like I said yesterday, I said with Monte Morris out of the lineup. Let me make sure he's out, everyone. Let me make sure he's actually out still. Questionable. Monte Morris has been upgraded to questionable for today. Because I said yesterday, because he was out, we're going to get a slower paced game. This is going to be more of a half court offense. He is a spark plug for their transition offense, Monte Morris. They're going to need Monte Morris today on the road. When it comes to Siakam, we're going to need Fred VanVleet. He's questionable, obviously. I didn't place the bet just yet, but I would like to place this bet in anticipation of VanVleet playing in this game, and I like the Raptors to cover again against the Denver Nuggets in the back-to-back spot. However, covering 3 games in a row, this is nothing to laugh at with the Nuggets. I just feel like the three-point shooting barrage is going to be a bit too much if we get VanVleet in the game. It's becoming a very potent attack between VanVleet and Gary Trent Jr. At the same time. We saw Gary Trent Jr. I also said on the live stream the night they played the Rockets, I said, I didn't bet the game because VanVleet was out, but I did say that whether VanVleet was in or not, that it was probably going to be a nice bounce back game for Gary Trent Jr. If VanVleet does play, his line, Gary Trent Jr., is going to drop here, but I'm expecting the Raptors to impose themselves. What have we been seeing? The Raptors have been outlasting teams. They're one of the few teams right now that are able to put together 4 quarters. Give me the Raptors today to cover against the Denver Nuggets. And I like this bet. No props for me in this game just yet, largely due to the fact that we can't even bet props right now because VanVleet is questionable. But maybe I'll add some stuff later in this game because I do have a couple of ideas for Siakam in this game. But I need to know if VanVleet's going to be in or not. I need to know if he's going to be in or not. I won't spend too much time on this game because we don't know if – let me make sure. Also, hit the like button, everyone. Help the video get 100 likes. Come on. Let's go. Hit the like button. Help the video get 125 likes. Spread the content and stay positive and keep positive people around you. That sounds like a recipe for success. Stay positive and keep positive people around you. It's a profitable recipe. Raptors for me today again. If VanVleet is in, unfortunately, we know the line's going to go to 5 if VanVleet's in. We know this. All right, this next game is very interesting. Let me move on. The next game is very interesting. The covering machines. I kid you not, everyone. I had the Cavs -7 yesterday, but before they ruled out Garland, okay? I let the bet ride because the odds didn't shift beyond -6, and I had a miracle push last night. A miracle push in this game. This Cavs team is serious. Karis LeVert came out of nowhere last night and just started spazzing in the second half. On the road today against the 76ers, let's check the injury report real quick. It is updated on this site. It's not hours behind like some other sites. It actually tells you the time. It's updated as well in this section here. Darius Garland has been, he's upgraded to questionable. He missed the game last night. I need to know if Garland's going to be in the game. But I will tell you, once he is ruled in, we will get better odds on Evan Mobley rebounds over tonight. It's time to jump back on Evan Mobley over on the rebounds train tonight. Wait for Garland to be activated and take Evan Mobley over on his rebounds total. I think the Cavs will probably win the first quarter as well. The back-to-back probably – it's a contrarian look, but I don't think the back-to-back is going to affect these guys too much if Garland is in the game. He truly is an engine, and I might sprinkle them as a dog in the first quarter here. But I'm waiting for the markets to pop up, and Cavs fourth quarter live has been a safe bet recently. I'll keep my eye on that, Steve. Also, everyone, while you're here, 125 people watching the live stream. It is Saturday, February 12th. NBA betting today, NBA picks and props, predictions, all of that today on the SportX Insights YouTube channel. Make sure you guys visit sportx.bet and sign up. Send me a message. We're going to be running a promo later for free bets for the Super Bowl. So you guys make sure you guys tap in, go sign up, and send me your email that you use to sign up on the site. You'll get a free Super Bowl bet for tomorrow. If you're watching the stream, you already know about it early. So go check it out. And hit the like button on the video. Thank you. They've been starting slow recently. But definitely, I appreciate the feedback. Hey, if you're on the opposite side, even if you don't like the picks, present your information the way you're doing. I love talking about basketball, bro. I love making basketball predictions. And if you never know. You just never know who knows what. You really don't know. You never know who's around you. Evan Mobley is a market that I'm going to target on his rebounds to go over to bounce back after last night. I'm going to target that market. Let's move on. Another prop that I can't bet because of the injury report at this stage, and it's not available, but let's see if it's available right now. It's Zach LaVine in the next game, everyone. Moving on. Zach LaVine was a bit quiet yesterday, wasn't he? Some foreshadowing. Zach LaVine was a bit quiet last night. Chicago, second night of a back-to-back. They're playing a bottom tier team in the OKC Thunder, giving up 11.5, 219 total on the second night of a back-to-back. The OKC Thunder, it depends on what line you got last night. It really depends on what line you got last night because they covered the closing line of 13.5, as you can see right here. They covered the closing line of 13.5. As we know, one second, everyone. Yeah, sorry about that, everyone, about the background noise. And the Bulls are giving up 11.5 right now. We know what they did in the fourth quarter last night. I won't even spend too much time on the spread in this game. Let me just see if the market is available for some Zach LaVine props, everyone. What is going on here? Okay, Zach LaVine doesn't seem to be available right now. If you guys can correct me in the chat, I'm going to use another source right now. And I will recap everything I talked about at the end of the video. All right, well, we're going to have to – actually, no, I'm pulling it up. I already wasted that much time. I'm pulling it up. Sorry, everyone. I'm pulling it up. All right, here we go. Yeah. Yeah, as you just saw, it doesn't take much to investigate, right? And Jack just said it in the chat as well before me. There are no Zach LaVine props in sight. There are no Zach. Everyone's listed but him. I'm like, what's going on? Zach LaVine, if he does play tonight, I have him listed to go over his points prop and his 3-point prop. So let's see how that goes. If he's listed, if he even plays, that's a worrying sign right there. The prop markets can be a predictive indicator in certain scenarios. So I'll just move on from this game. Nothing on the Thunder Bulls prop, but if he does pop up today and does play, he's projected to play. We know he's had some back tightness, some back strain issues in the over the last week and a half. So let's see how it goes. Yeah, we lost Jakob Poeltl by the hook, bro. It's cool. I had a bit of hope because they were up by 20 on the Hawks, and Popovich put him back in the game for like 2 minutes, but it was smoke and mirrors. The very next time out, he pulled him right back out. There was no need. The job was done. The job was done. Moving on to the next game. I'll tell you my two angles in this game, and the one that I'm probably likely to bet strongly, but I'm waiting for Tyler Hero and PJ Tucker to get activated. Right now, they're questionable. We'll get the update right now. It's a different player I'm targeting, but they affect that player, so I'll talk about it right now. Yeah, they're questionable. Caleb Martin, Tyler Hero, and Tyler Hero are all questionable. Seth Curry is unlikely to make his debut, and I'm not sure about Drummond. He's listed questionable here, but I'm not sure how likely he is to make his debut for the Brooklyn Nets today after the trade from the Philadelphia 76ers. But I'll tell you my angle in this game. One is Bam Adebayo over 3.5 assists. I'll likely place a small bet there. He has a distinct matchup edge in the paint tonight, especially if Andre Drummond does not make his debut. If Drummond does make his debut, he'll probably destabilize their flow. Won't be fully integrated. They're essentially just throwing him out there. Although he's still been in good form, I think Bam Adebayo has a decent chance to go over 3.5 assists today in terms of his individual playmaking. But the line I want to take, but the reason I didn't take it now is because I'm anticipating Tyler Hero and PJ Tucker to play today, and we will get better odds on Duncan Robinson over 2.5 threes. It's listed at -150 right now. If Tyler Hero plays today, and Caleb Martin and PJ Tucker, three players that when you add them all up, that's many more three-point shot attempts for other players. I will take Duncan Robinson over 2.5 threes, and I will sprinkle him to go over 3.5 threes as well against this non-existent Brooklyn Nets defense. He's also a bit taller. It's a small factor, but I do like Duncan Robinson's threes today against the Brooklyn Nets. But we will get better odds when these guys are activated that you can see down here. Everyone. No, it's probably his back. It's probably his back. Okay, they said the same thing about Drummond. Cool. Thanks for the advice. I like the Bam Adebayo over 3.5 assists even more now. Duncan Robinson is a go today to go over his 3-point prop total. Everyone, based on my research, and I will bet it once Tyler Hero is activated. I will take the odds, the better odds. Moving on. Mavs Clippers, everyone. Make sure the same odds. The odds are the same because I'm using odds from sportx.bet. The odds on team rankings might be a little bit off here. Okay, it's down to 6. We see 6.5 here on team rankings, but on sportx.bet, the Mavericks are down to 6, and the total is the same, 215.5. We have Norman Powell questionable with a toe injury that he sustained the other day against the Mavericks. In this game, though, the second matchup. One second, pull up my list because I do have a prop in this game as well. The Clippers are on a free fall. They've lost 5 in a row ATS, as you can see here. The Dallas Mavericks are a team that's been ascendant recently, 7-3 the last 10 games ATS. Everyone, I think in the second matchup, it pushed. It really depends on what line you got, though. They covered the last game. I think the Mavs cover again here. They just don't have enough, the Clippers. They don't have enough resistance. I know that this is a max desperation spot for the Clippers, though. Their season is definitely slipping away from them. But the Clippers are a team like the Jazz, not the Clippers. The Mavs are a team like the Clippers, like the Jazz. Sorry. The Mavs are a team like the Celtics, like the Jazz, that are ascendants, that are trending in the right direction. I think the Clippers can get these guys out of the way. I like the Mavs to cover the spread. I like the Mavs and the Clippers under on the total as well. I actually like the total under 215.5 here. I like Luka over 8.5 assists as well. Luka Doncic over 8.5 assists in this matchup. He's coming off the 51-point game. Like someone said in the chat earlier, usually when players come off of performances of scoring 40 points or more, their very next opponent throws the kitchen sink at them defensively, and I can see them trying to double team Luka over the half-court line. Although Luka is essentially unguardable, that's going to open up a lot of shots for his teammates, probably guys like Jalen Brunson as well. We see him performing very well on his points prop total recently, especially since Tim Hardaway's gone down. They've traded Porzingis. His line is only 15.5 on the points for Jalen Brunson. I think Brunson is a go for 15.5 as well. But I like the Mavs. I like the under. I like Luka over 8.5 assists. All three of them, I like them in this game. It's crazy. The only one I bet is the Luka prop right now. But I'll add the Mavs and I'll add the under in this game. I like both. I like both in this matchup. The Clippers are probably not going to be able to compete for 4 quarters, but it is a max desperation spot for them. I'll actually wait, though. I'll wait on the Mavs. Luka over 8.5 assists, and I like the under. Let's make sure no crazy news comes out in this game. Let's make sure no crazy news comes out in this game. That's what I'm going to wait for. Stifling defense from the Mavs today. They keep it under. John Collins did not practice today. Just a word of advice for the next Hawks game. He did leave the game last night against the Spurs. Lakers, Warriors. The TV ratings game of the day, everyone. The social media game of the day. I want to make a note of something I noticed in the game against we can tell they don't have Wiseman back so far this season. Defensively, their weak link has been Kevon Looney. He's stuffed the stat sheet rebounding at certain times, but there's no rim protection for the Golden State Warriors. I think the Warriors are going to cover tonight, everyone. I think the Warriors are going to cover tonight against the Lakers, and I think the Lakers really are in a free fall. They lost to the Portland Trailblazers G League affiliate. I don't think there's any bouncing back from that as an organization. We're seeing reports of dissension. LeBron James and Anthony Davis mad at Rob Pelinka for not making any moves. These are two teams that have been letting people down against the spread over the last couple of games, okay? Between the two, one of the organizations has dissension and drama in the organization, and one of them does not. I'm taking the one that does not, the one that has championship aspirations, the one that still has Steph Curry. Make sure that, because I'm saying this thinking that Klay Thompson's going to play. He didn't play the other night because of the back-to-back. Let me just make sure I don't eat my words. Otto Porter questionable. LeBron questionable. Westbrook questionable. Klay Thompson's not on the injury report. Klay Thompson's a go. Give me the Warriors here. It's up to -7. I missed a good line. My dog HK took -6.5. I'm taking the Warriors -7. No props for me in this game. Short and sweet. Hopefully we don't get any mob shit in this game. We're getting a bounce back game for the Warriors today. They're going to blow the Lakers away tonight. If the Warriors really want to try to catch up to the Suns, which they're not going to catch up to the Suns, everyone. The Suns will win the West. In the playoffs as well, they will win the West. But the Warriors will probably make it interesting as the Draymond Green returns. It'll become much more interesting. Moving on. This is a game that I'm a bit reluctant to bet on, everyone. 16.5 point spread, Phoenix Suns against the Orlando Magic. As we know, hey, that was my favorite game of the season. I'm going to call it what it is. It was my second favorite game of the season. My favorite game of the season was when the Raptors beat the Miami Heat and made it go to triple overtime in Miami. That was my favorite game of the season. I almost lost my voice watching that game. But my second favorite game of the season was the Phoenix Suns getting their revenge. It wasn't real revenge because they didn't get a championship against the Milwaukee Bucks the other night. Are they going to come with that same fire, that same passion tonight? I would like to think so. You know, the Magic are on the second night of a back-to-back, traveling from Utah down to Phoenix. If the Suns want to step on these guys today, they can do that. They can absolutely crush them if they want to. But will we get that same intensity? That's how I know certain guys can just go for it whenever they want. Chris Paul has been thinking about the Milwaukee Bucks since the finals. He had 19 assists the other day. 19 assists. That has to be unsustainable. You know, they're not talking about Chris Paul enough right now. It's disrespectful. They're not talking about Chris Paul enough right now. I have a strong lean towards the under in this game, largely due to the fact that I think that the Suns are just going to try to get a win here and get out of here. Maybe Chris Paul under on his assists just to try to get some normalcy in this game. I do have a strong lean to under 222.5 here. More half-court sets for the Suns, maybe less desire, less intensity here. But as you've heard over the course of the live stream, I have shared many other plays. My money's spread out over the course of these other plays. It looks to be a very interesting Saturday in the NBA. So I'm going to get ready to get out of here, eat some lunch, enjoy the Saturday. I will recap all the picks that I made right now. Give me a follow on Twitter at MyGuyKnowsAGuy. You can see my name on the screen. Follow the SportX Project. Follow SportX Project NBA Betting Today for updates, project updates, and NBA updates as well. And visit sportx.bet. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, take a chance on the channel. Subscribe. Turn notifications on. And, yeah, just be ready for the next live streams. We could go live at any moment. And help the video get over 150 likes throughout the course of the day. If you're watching later on replay, I will share the picks on Twitter later on in the day. I want to give everyone a chance to watch the live stream as well. Looks to be a very interesting day in the sports world. I will recap the picks right now. Taking Jakob Poeltl over 8.5 rebounds, plus 105. I'm taking Jaren Jackson Jr. over 17.5 points. I'm taking Evan Mobley over on his rebounds when the market is available. I'm taking Duncan Robinson over 2.5 threes, and I'm going to sprinkle over 3.5 threes. I'm going to wait until they activate, and now we got it, everyone. We got to the bottom of it. Zach LaVine is questionable. He's questionable. The prop markets already knew. They already knew. Duncan Robinson over 2.5 threes. I'm going to sprinkle over 3.5 threes after they activate Tyler Hero. If they activate Tyler Hero, we will get better odds on that prop. I'm taking the Raptors -4. Small bet, Bam Adebayo over 3.5 assists. Taking the Warriors -7. The Golden State Warriors -7. I'm taking the Grizzlies -7. Taking the Mavs and the Clippers under 215.5, and I'm taking Luka Doncic over 8.5 assists. I lean the Sacramento Kings, but I hate them. I'll tell you some big bets on SportX before I get out of here, Mario. If you want to know some big bets on SportX, we have someone that bet multiple, like 25,000. I kid you not. You can see it yourself. I can share the screenshots. I will not make this information up. I'm just looking at it on my phone. Someone bet like over $25,000 on the Wizards, plus 3.5 at the open. Someone bet 3,000 on the Pelicans recently in the last few minutes. Pelicans -5.5. Someone bet big money on the under between the Cavs and the Cavs and the 76ers. Big money. That's the rest of the bets are average in size. Oh, actually, no. Yeah, the rest of the bets are average in size. That was you? I should have known. You bet 25 bands on the Wizards last night. Crazy, Akbar. Crazy. Now we're just trolling, you know. Hey, everyone, if you enjoyed the live stream, I'll see you guys next time. Turn notifications on. We might go live at any moment. Enjoy your Saturday. I had a lot of fun doing this, and I enjoyed talking basketball predictions with everyone. Stay positive. Let's go, everyone. Hope you guys get some money today.